In February this year, government signed an agreement with authorities in Saudi Arabia to ensure the rights and safety of Ugandan migrant workers. This was to enforce the employment regulations of 2021 and also follow on the implementation of the bilateral labor agreement Uganda and Saudi Arabia signed in 2017. The two countries agreed to establish a joint technical committee to monitor implementation and compliance with the 2017 bilateral agreement. The Gender Minister, Betty Amongi, said the monitoring committee would be set up by June this year. She told the media that over 140,000 Ugandan migrant workers were in Saudi Arabia, and their remittances to Uganda's economy were about $900 million. That makes the Ugandans in Cheyo, in Saudi Arabia, a vital industry government is obliged to protect. In the research, it was discovered that the main contractor is usually a foreign licensed company based in Saudi Arabia. This sends job orders to the subcontracted Ugandan agency to look for workers. All powers over the worker actually belongs to Saudi Arabia Recruitment Company and the eventual employer of the girls. Take Judith Nachintu, for example. The 38-year-old single mother of 5 lost her left kidney in Jeddah. Nachintu was recruited by Nile Treasure Gate Company in 2019 to work in Jeddah. Another example is of Millie Namazi, a 26-year-old mother of 2 who died in Egypt after sending several audio recordings that her life was in danger. She was recruited by Dreams Connect Company, which told the family she had died in an accident. Yet police's medical examination report indicates she was murdered instead after torture. Article 3 of the agreement executed on December 27, 2017 between Uganda and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia enjoins parties to protect the rights of domestic workers externalized in line with applicable laws. Actually, Ugandan girls are being sold online and transactions are made between the two companies and employers. Girls in recruitment processes are never involved. They are like commodities waiting to be sold. It is actually easy when you want to go for Cheyo. The adverts are many on radio and many people know some companies or someone who knows some company. Our undercover journalist got this advert on an internet page called Ugandans in UAE. Ewan Jamila Njaka was calling for people interested to travel to Dubai to work as housemates and promising a salary of 1.2 million Uganda shillings. She inquired and was told that if indeed the ad was for Dubai, that was human trafficking, complete with the risk of sex exploitation and forced labor. Jamila gave a contact of another person to meet for more details. When she called that number, the owner introduced herself as Shakira but preferred to be called Narongo. Narongo has a sweet and convincing tongue. She asked our journalist to visit their office in Machindye. She convinced her that the company was genuine. She said there was an immediate opportunity in Saudi Arabia and that she should go with a few clothes, about 2 dresses and 2 packs of pads. She said if showed up the next day, they would be able to travel in 2 weeks. She said the journalist was supposed to stay at a hostel as they finalized the documents. That was their system. However, she did not seem to know a lot about externalization of labor, the treaties, procedures, and government conditions. On Friday early in the morning, she called our undercover journalist again and said they would be setting off to their office in Machindye, asked her to come to office and do medical checks, so to be on the list of those waiting to travel in a few days. She asked them to come with only 2 dresses because after medical, they won't be allowed to go back home because the company doesn't want girls to get pregnant before traveling. Our journalist was in Machinde by 10 a.m. The office is near KCCA offices in a squeezed space without a name. Nalongo told them to stand at the KCCA signpost where she would be picked from. 2 other girls were also waiting in the office with packed bags. She introduced our undercover journalist to Florence Najemba, who she said was her boss. Najemba was registering 2 girls for passports. One of them was from Lugazi and another from Chibuku. The girls pay Najemba for the passports. Yet according to the employment regulations of 2021, a recruitment agency may charge a migrant worker a fee not exceeding 20,000 shillings only for administrative costs only. Florence asked the girl 500,000 to process her a passport. That was illegal. When asked about Dubai, Florence said the advert about Dubai was a mistake, reasoning that they were only taking them to Saudi Arabia at the moment because Dubai was still closed because of COVID-19 lockdown. Florence took all the girls to a clinic across the road called Rift Valley Medical Services Limited for medical tests. They took blood and urine samples. The examinations required were HIV, hepatitis B, syphilis, and HCG tests for pregnancy. While waiting for results, Madame Florence bragged that her girls are doing well and that they were all earning 1.2 million shillings monthly, and some have so far started building here in Uganda. She claimed to monitor them and that no one has ever complained of exploitation. She however explained that if they wanted to go to Dubai, they would pay 4 million shillings and Richard will take it through Nairobi. Richard's office is also tiny. It is located at Mukisa House, behind Hotel Equatoria, opposite Post Bank. Outside the office, there was a mobile money agent called Viola, who seemed to be Richard's worker too, working next to the office entrance. Expected to be driven to a hostel, our undercover journalist hadn't carried extra clothes, but Richard said there was no time. It was as if they were traveling the next day. In the next episode, we take you to shock and horror at the hostel.